All right, hey guys, how's everybody doing? It's been a little while. Been getting into some home improvement projects, so yes, but I'm happy to be back. And I've been getting some really intense messages. Really intense messages for the collective that my guides have been really like pushing, like, hey, you need to go ahead and upload this, you need to go ahead and talk about this, because it seems like, especially, we're, I don't know, are we midway through summer? We're about a third of the way through summer. But the messages that I have been getting have been a lot about like divine masculines and being in situations that are not conducive to their growth. And the messages have been like really intense. So I've been getting a lot of downloads about those messages, and also I've been channeling some of the messages. So let me see. Let's see. I'm going to touch on the first message. So I'll probably break this up into three parts. The first message that I got, I'm going to pull cards on each one just to kind of clarify them a little bit. But the first message that I received via download, one of them was about someone's divine masculine is in a pickle right now. The situation that I saw, basically, this divine masculine, I don't know if he's divine anymore based on what I was seeing, but this particular divine masculine, they seemed like they had a lot going for them. There was, best way to put it, they were in a high-rise apartment building, and it looked like they were in the penthouse suite, and they were there alone, and they were naked. And I'm not gonna lie, like, the energy that I was getting from them is that their mental was just like going. The mental was gone. They are or were, this could be past, present, or future, but this particular masculine was like unraveling, like at the seams. They were in a situation that looked like, the best way to put this, the situation that they were in, it was like this particular masculine had chosen, I guess you would call, like, the fast life. So, partying, drinking, like doing drugs, reckless, reckless sexual behavior, bros before hoes, kind of energy. And they were in a connection with someone, but the person that they were in a connection with was even more low vibrational than they were. And I mean, it was really sad. I felt really bad for this masculine, because it was very much like what they had been promised about this fast life. For whatever reason, I guess a lack of intuition, a lack of, foresight, whatever you want to call it. They didn't have an understanding of like where that particular lifestyle could potentially lead them. And they basically got involved with this low vibrational feminine that, you know, probably looked good, smelled good, you know, talked a good game, you know, all of that. And this particular feminine, I don't know if she's like, maybe like does like sex work on the side. That was the vibe that I was getting, and I don't think that he was like fully aware that she was like an escort or something along those lines, but he was like in for a rude awakening. So this particular feminine one, she was escorting, and his friends, unbeknownst to him, were some of her clients. So she was like hooking up with all of these people around him, and the number that I got was roughly about 6 of his friends were paying to have relations with his significant other, and everybody around him was lying about it. I mean, I don't get the feeling that they were fully like exclusive. The vibe that I was getting, they have like a very like kind of fluid relationship, very, you know, we break up, we get back together, we break up, we get back together. But maybe he was under the misconception that they were exclusive, but it seemed very much like he was very, very into her. He was very into her. He was very in love with her, and he had fallen for her. I don't think that he had meant to fall in love with her, because she checked all of his boxes. Is very superficial, you know. She looked the part, you know. She had a perfect body, perfect face, you know. Maybe she had seemingly, you know, she lived in the right area. She drove the right kind of car. She had the right kind of social connections. But the dark side of that was, you know, she's sleeping with all of your friends, and you don't know that, and the friends are like laughing at him, like, you know, he's like thinking that he's gonna propose to her, maybe he even did propose to her, but thinking that they're gonna have this like awesome life together. And all of the friends around him know that she's basically, you know, talking about him behind his back, that he's like a simp. And I mean, it was like really brutal, but she definitely like hung him out to dry. The other part of this, the 2 parts of this that were like really disturbing as well, was like, one, she, I guess, contracted an incurable STD, and I'm getting like of the House in Virginia variety, but she contracted this, and I guess because she didn't want to give up the lifestyle, because he was pretty much paying for everything for her, she just didn't say anything. She just kind of felt like, well, you know, he's doing his thing and I'm doing my thing, and you know, he may not know that I'm doing, you know, my thing, but I'm not going to say anything to him. So she got him sick, and then on top of that, she got pregnant. And so this whole thing, I mean, whole thing was just real, like, you know, super cringe. On top of all of that, yeah, she's pregnant. She does not know who the father is, but I guess because like that's who she was cohabitating with, she just went ahead and told him that, you know, like, this is your baby. And I guess he went along with it. Anyway, he didn't question it until he started having symptoms that he had contracted, you know, the package. So when he contracted the package, like one, he's nervous thinking like, oh gosh, like did I get her sick? Is it my fault? She's gaslighting him that it's not her fault, but she knew all along that she was sick. And she just didn't say anything because she wasn't showing. I mean, if she was showing any symptoms, she was like hiding it, she was, whatever. But she didn't say anything. So they're sick. She's pregnant. The rumor mill, it got around that she was sleeping with like 6 of his friends. Finally, it got around to him one way or another, maybe through her phone or seeing some kind of like messaging or something like that. But he ends up finding that out. They start fighting, and then what happened after that? They started fighting, and then he confronts her about what he found out. Of course, she doubled down. Both of them are narcissists. She doubles down, and essentially they have this, big blowout breakup situation. Mind you, now they live in like a very bougie area, and they're fighting like cats and dogs. They're in the penthouse, so most of the time, like people can't necessarily hear very well, but there was enough noise essentially for there to be like, I guess, like a noise violation. So neighbors, became privy to this fight that's going on. And he kicks her out of this luxury, high-rise apartment situation. And then where it left off essentially for this particular channel was that he gets a letter in the mail that she's suing him for child support, but there's a side piece as well that's also suing him for child support. But the difference is the side piece, that's actually his baby. The one that the girlfriend is pregnant with is not his. Needless to say, the whole situation was just like wow. I was really blown away at the levels, okay? The levels. At the end of the day, you can always choose to be in a toxic relationship, but the reality of the situation is it may not end well. Most times, this is a karmic relationship that you were meant to learn lessons from and move on. But the longer you stay in these karmic relationships, the higher the likelihood there's going to be some like permanent damage that you can incur from being in this kind of relationship for an extended period of time. So now we're looking at, child support, with some, having to pay for a baby that you don't even want because the person he really wanted to be with, doesn't really care about him. She was all basically looked at him as like a stepping stone to be with someone that had more money than him, that was more successful, because she just felt like, oh yeah, I could do better than this. Like this is, he's trash. Like who is he? Like it's giving, she may come from a wealthy family. So she's very entitled, very, very, very entitled, and has never, never really had to work, never really had to, like don't get me wrong, like she may have like gone to a good school. She may be, maybe intelligent, well educated, but the reality of the situation is she does not really care about this man, and he's just like super invested in her, and everybody's like laughing behind his back that it's like you're trying to like wife, this escort, and we're all sleeping with her. She's, having like threesomes and foursomes and whatnot with his friends, and unbeknownst to him, and it's like, oh, I'm going out of town with the girls, we're going to Vegas, but she's really like going to Vegas with his homeboys. I mean, this is probably something that he needed to humble himself, this particular experience. So I hope that he takes this opportunity, you know, fingers crossed for that baby's sake, that he takes this opportunity to grow and doesn't stay, you know, super stuck in his head about the fact that things didn't quite work out and they don't look how he wants them to look. So he may, you know, he may have to kind of start over, so to speak. So we will see how that goes. But if this message resonated with you, please leave a comment, like, please leave a comment, like the video, share it with someone that you feel like this may resonate with, and subscribe. But thank you guys for spending some time with me, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.